Hey there, Postal here! So today we are taking out the BF-109Z. We're going to see what we can do with it. We're in a Tier 7 battle. We just had this, we're in the BF-109G. What the heck? There's a BF-109Z on the enemy team. A heavy fighter version of this plane, basically. He was on my team last game and was very ineffective, which means he's going to be like God tier in this particular battle, but we'll see how it goes. So what is this plane? Well, the BF-109G is Tier 7 German light fighter. It divides the community, I think we'll say. Either you really like it or you really don't like it. It has a very strong 30mm cannon on the hub. However, it is incredibly short range, and as such kind of forces you to play some short range gameplay. Which is typically more conducive to maneuvering planes, right? This plane actually does have a reasonable amount of maneuverability. However, nobody's going to call it a turn fighter, that's for sure. It is still a high altitude, high speed fighter, and should be played as such. Let's go ahead and let my 30mm cannon cool off. Go ahead and dive down. See if we can't get this P-47B knocked out. Let's go in for our IL-2. He's on fire, so he should be dead, and he is. Get rid of this ground attacker. Did I set him on fire? Does not seem so. There we go. And we'll get rid of this guy too while we're at it. Actually, holding on to the center will allow us to win the battle. The biggest threat that this particular plane really honestly has is probably going to be things like Spitfire 9. And of course, you know, a lot of Tier 8 planes. Spitfire 9 has just too much turnability and just a little bit too much speed, although obviously the BF-109G is faster. That being said, Spitfire is definitely a strong plane that you have to deal with when you're in the BF-109Z. G, why do I keep saying Z? What am I, a freaking moron? Maybe. And so for this particular plane, I really do like focusing on its ability to do some significant damage. Let's use our speed and altitude advantage here against this Yak-3. The Yak-3 is actually out of position. And although he got some cheeky shots in on me there, he's way too high for him to be effective. So we're just going to kind of tear him up here. Even we're going to have better turnability than him at this altitude. There's a mosquito. We definitely need to be mindful of that thing. This mosquito will melt you down pretty quickly if you're not paying enough attention. And these are just Tier 6 bombers, so shouldn't have too much of an issue. Really, a B-32 is really the only bomber at this tier that can be a pain in the butt, simply because it's got so many guns. Sorry, P-47, but you really should avoid the center in this particular match. Gonna just fire my machine guns, let my hub cannon cool off, and then fire it again. There we go. Let's get the Ju-88P here knocked out. Ooh, hello. Somebody else knocked him out, and that's fine. Try not to get bomb dropped here. Do not crash. Oh, come on, Postal, you moron. Go. Let's try to get some health back since I hurt myself so poorly. There's the A5. There's some bombers. I don't really have the health pool to be messing with the bombers anymore. So let's just get other people to get over here. We're gonna head over to this garrison. I might have to deal with the bombers if nobody else is going to. Literally no damage done to that bomber. Okay. Dang it. Dang it, Lev. Watch out for the Yak 9U. You never want to get a punch in the face from a Yak 9U. Alright, let's see what we can do here. I've actually built my G to be more on the maneuverability side, simply because it allows you to get your 30mm cannon on target as quickly as possible. And also you still have a plethora of speed with this plane. Like, I'm not wanting for speed. And so even with a... That's a lot of flack I'm taking here, huh? Even with a less than speed build, this plane still is incredibly fast and incredibly effective when it comes to speed. I might die here to the heavy fighter behind me. I will die here. Dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it. My own fault. I knew it was coming at me. Being a little bit lackadaisical since we're so high up on capture points here. I'm going to spawn down here, make sure they don't capture that, and then head to the center. Looks like I helped capture that garrison, though, either way. Get rid of this Yak 3. I think he's probably too high for his own good. 5,000 foot has got to be too high for a Yak 3. I'm going under that assumption. What in the world is going on here? Okay, now we're getting a little bit too low. And we're fighting a Yak 3 in a turn fight. So, luckily I've got pneumatic control assist going. Alright, so we've got 3 sectors to their 2. We need to send everybody there. No, we need to send everybody there. I'm already here, so let's just capture this back. I'm at full health, so I feel fairly confident in my skill set here. Of course, if I need my shots to actually hit, so let's not get too comfortable with our skill set. There we go. Oh, hello, sir. Got another fighter inbound on us. Nope. Oh, a heavy fighter. Whoopsie. Let's get our boost on. Stick with this guy. Maybe. Come on, cannon. You know you want to hit. Tappity tap tap tap, baby. Just the machine guns. Let my 30mm cannon cool off. Got it. And we've almost certainly got this battle now. Let's get some more altitude here. Shall we? Where are... they're all in the center, so let's head to the center. Game will probably be over by the time I get there, but that's fine. Gonna hang out at this altitude. Angle just a little bit down, 5 degrees or so. We had a B-17G? What was he doing? Yeah, that's game. Alright. Well, we were able to get a Campbell and Nakamatsu out of that. Shame of it is, if I didn't die, I probably would have gotten some other nifty medals here. But c'est la vie. Dang it, just short of getting a Wing Legend. Alright, let's head on back. Yeah, I would have gotten a Marseille at least out of it. We got 18 kills there. Not quite an ace. Pretty close, though. Oh, you know what? It's a B-17G. Never mind. I can understand that plane being frustrating if you saw my video from a couple weeks ago. So yeah, so this is, again, B-17G, Tier 7 battle. So we've got everything working in our favor, obviously being top tier. Tier 8 battle B-17G can definitely struggle. You just have to know your place, right? You're not going to be, a world beater, even at Tier 7. But at Tier 8, you just need to know your place and be more of a support aircraft. In this battle, I was able to, really do what I wanted to do. The P-47 was not a threat in any way, shape, or form. And the BF-109Z that was on the enemy team wasn't paying any attention to me, so just letting me do my thing. And so, this plane can be, obviously, any plane can be effective in those kind of situations. But as the light fighter pilot, I know I need to be mindful of the heavy fighter on the enemy team. Whether or not he takes advantage of his strengths over my weaknesses, it's up to him, right? So what is this plane? Well, you've got your BF-109 airframe, you've got your DB-605 engine, which is obviously going to allow you to get really good altitude and really good speed for a fighter. What sets this plane apart from its other Tier 7 fighter counterparts is his 37mm hub cannon. It does 180 damage per second, but keep in mind, again, it's really, really short range. All the guns on this plane are really, really short range. You've got two machine guns synchronized. They're right here. And then you've got your 30mm hub cannon. So this plane has incredibly short range for all of its armament, and there's nothing that you can do about that. The equipment does not allow you to buff your forward-firing weapons. And so my thought process at first was like what you do with most of your what you'd think you would do with most of your altitude fighters. And that's focus on the speed, kind of disregard the maneuverability. You've got it there for reasons when you need it, but for the most part, you don't really focus on it. I enjoyed the plane with that setup, but I thought to myself, it's a much shorter range guns on this plane. With short range guns, typically I like to get my guns on target as quickly as possible, especially when it's a hard-hitting 30mm cannon. Let's go ahead and, instead of having polished skin on here, let's go ahead and put lightweight wing frame. Let's go ahead and put lightweight power unit on here. And so what that does is that buffs my maneuverability up. Granted, obviously I'm specialized, but my maneuverability is pretty darn good. Less than 10 seconds on the turn time, great roll rate. The ability to speed up and slow down is impacted in a positive manner because of that. And so I've got upgraded engine on here because, of course, I want to still have some sort of impact on my airspeed. But I feel really comfortable in this plane having a decent amount of maneuverability. And so, yeah, am I the most maneuverable thing at Tier 7? By no means. Something like LA-7, still going to be a little bit more maneuverable than me. Yak-3, of course, is going to have more maneuverability than me. Key 84, definitely going to have more maneuverability than me. But keep in mind that you've got more speed and more altitude performance than any of those planes. And so what you can do is pull those planes up higher. You saw it when I was going versus the Yak-3. Pull them up into an altitude that they're not as effective in, and then suddenly you can outmaneuver those planes, especially if you've hung on to some of your important equipment. Pneumatic control assist is really important in those kind of situations. Typically, it's just to get me out of trouble that I accidentally got myself into. A great example was against that Yak-3. But you can still use it if you're against a human Key 84 or a human LA-7. You can use the pneumatic control assist because they're probably going to be built for something of a more maneuverability build. And so you can pull them up to a higher altitude and you might still get outmaneuvered, but using pneumatic control assist at the higher altitudes, you'll be able to take advantage of that. I've got my first aid package on here. For me, in any fighter, the fire extinguisher is just not the best consumable for a fighter. Even if it's a fighter that catches on fire all the time, I'd still rather have the first aid dressing. This plane doesn't catch on fire all the time, and so it's just really not a smart move, in my opinion, to put anything but a first aid kit on here. As far as my other consumables are concerned, I've gone with engine cooling. I highly recommend it. It gets extra 10 seconds worth of boost. It's just incredibly helpful. I've gone with improved mixture control on here. Reason being is I very rarely get the engine knocked out. However, that's my step on this. I still recommend manual engine restart for the majority of pilots. The improved mixture control just really gives you even a little bit more airspeed, and for my playstyle, I'm willing to take that risk of getting my engine knocked out and not being able to do anything about it for the potential to have more engine power for the entirety of the battle. But I still recommend manual engine restart for the vast majority of pilots out there. I've got universal ammo on here because why not? It's just 6,000 credits. And premium or no, the 6,000 credits is not really a big deal as far as I'm concerned. And so that's my setup on the BF-109G. My pilot is just a 7-point pilot. I've kind of got like a mixed bag when it comes to the skills here. With my skill set, this is fine. I'm not sure if I would recommend going for, like, most people, like, Marksman 2 might be a really good bet just so you can get as much accuracy on that 30mm cannon as possible. It's definitely the next skill I'm going for on this particular plane. I've got the Engine Guru 1, but it's argumentative if that's even viable. At this, like, okay, let's try to start over again. For my pilot skills, I've just kind of got some things, and I'm not really as concise with them as I would like them to be. Honestly, I would think Marksman 2 would be something that you really want to go for initially with this pilot, simply so you can make sure or hope that the 30mm cannon's hitting more often than not. Aerodynamics Expert is not recommended on this plane until you get it specialized. But after it's specialized, the Aerodynamics Expert is an excellent skill because it buffs all your maneuverability and speed equipment, so that's definitely not a bad thing. Engine Guru and Engine Guru 2 are definitely two skills I'm going to try to get at some point. But I'm not sure it's a necessity on this plane just because, you don't live and die by speed on the BF-109G like you do a lot of the other German planes. But it's certainly helpful, of course. Aerobatics Expert might actually be something viable later on, like, after 10 points. Just to help get a little bit more maneuverability in those types of situations. Things like Adrenaline Rush are also going to be incredibly helpful, so that might be a special pilot skill that I get added on at a later time. And so there's a lot of flexibility with this plane. It's not just a pure speed altitude plane. There is some flexibility with the maneuverability, and I say take advantage of that. Build the build how you play your plane the best. If maneuverability is not in the cards for your playstyle, then don't build it for maneuverability. If you want to push as much maneuverability as possible, you can go ahead and do that as well. Either way, with a maneuverability build, you're going to have good altitude and pretty good speed. With a speed build, you're going to have great great altitude and speed, and still decent maneuverability. And so, it just matters what you want to have your focus be. I hope this helps. I'd love to hear your build on a BF-109G if you've gotten this particular plane. Was it a plane that you just flew past as quickly as possible? Or is it something that you've hung on to? Again, I'd love to hear your perspective on the plane and how you flew it. And if you enjoyed how you flew it, feel free to comment down below. I'll respond. Or otherwise, feel free to hop in my Discord. The link in the description, and we can continue the conversation there. Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you have a great day.